Part 5 is all about shared decision making. Now that you have some information on different treatment options, we'll go over how to choose your treatment based on your thoughts along with doctors and loved ones. We'll go over what shared decision making means, the key factors that go into making your decision, how your outcomes align with your goals, and what to do next. You can find the next part of this series on the National Granges or Retire Safe's website. Again, thank you so much for watching this presentation today, and we want to give a special thank you to Bristol Myers Squibb, who sponsored this project.
Thank you for choosing to watch another video in this series. For this section, we will be discussing how to weigh the information from sources around you in order to make the best decision for yourself. We will be discussing how opinions often differ between people on the way in which someone's cancer journey should go. Shared decision-making first needs to be defined. It is when you take in what others and the sources at your disposal have to say to decide on the best course of action. Thus, it is their shared input that helps you make the necessary decisions. The list on this slide offers a few areas where there may be differing opinions, and where decisions need to be made. When tests, treatments, and care plans are offered, you and the people around you will put forth their ideas about which course to take. Similarly, in drafting the legal documents that were mentioned before, such as the living will and DNR, many will want to share their views on such matters. The reasons why people may have differing opinions can be attributed to these factors, as they truly are factors that need to be considered before taking a certain path. For everything listed in the last slide, tests, treatments, care plans, legal documents, and insurance choices, money is the most common thing argued about, which is probably not something that comes as a shock. Insurance choices, for example, really just boils down to financial matters, but is an entity in and of itself that needed mentioning. For the other decisions, however, there is more than just money that needs to be considered. For tests, you may not actually wish to know whether or not you have cancer, as you may be content with not knowing, and as such, you do not want to be tested. Someone in your life, however, may want to identify what is happening for their own peace of mind. For treatments, much more than cost is factored into the decision, as was discussed in the section before this one. But, as a quick overview, the travel distance for the treatment and the feasibility and statistics over effectiveness factor into your decision. Additionally, whether the treatment aligns with your desires and those around you is something to consider. You or someone else may care more about the effect that a treatment will have on the quality of your life, or one of you may care more about the number of months or years you can gain from a specific treatment, and you will want to weigh which one you personally consider more important. You have to analyze how these treatment plans align with your desires and those around you. For care plans, you have to consider what your home environment is like, look into caregiver employment, or consider inpatient options. For legal documents, beyond the money associated with getting these drafted, timing and coordination is important, as often you need witnesses and attorneys, and you will have to schedule such meetings. Furthermore, with specific documents like the living will and DNR, your family may not wish for you to create these documents, as they would prefer a different outcome for you in the event that you need emergency care or life support. Thus, it is again important to know how these documents align with people's desires for you, for arguments often arise when discussing these documents. Thus, it may benefit you to be preparing your family in advance for you wanting said documents, by either hinting your opinions or having constructive discussions over these matters now, when you are healthy and emotions are not running high, as they would after a diagnosis. Now, it needs to be said that these are not the only factors that may come into play if you receive a diagnosis, but these are important and common factors. In terms of who exactly you may be making these decisions with, or having arguments with, you have multiple sources providing you with information. First, you have yourself, and your own knowledge of your personal financial situation, home situation, and ultimate desires for your life. You have family members who will be sharing their opinions or knowledge, or that you may wish to involve heavily in the process. Your doctor, too, may be influencing you towards a specific treatment, or giving you information to consider. The trusted websites that were provided to you may help you in your decision making. Any support group that you may be a part of also may guide your decisions. Something to note is that these sources of information are not inherently good or bad resources, but are simply the means by which your decision may be affected. It is also important to keep in mind that those around you, as well as the websites, may have varying goals behind what they want. For example, you may be wanting to see a particular event a few years down the road, like a wedding to attend, and you want to be aggressive in your treatment. Or you may want to be able to enjoy the time left without having to go through the ordeal of treatment. Your loved one may wish for you to have the best quality of life and not wish for you to go through the stress. Or they may wish for you to take an aggressive course of action to fully eradicate any cancer cell. Your doctor, too, may have varying opinions depending on the situation, and may wish to eradicate everything, or may not wish to burden you with undergoing a treatment plan. Those in your support or survivor group may have had a good or bad experience with a particular doctor, treatment, or insurance company that may not necessarily translate to your life. Websites, too, may have a goal. Some cancer websites specifically may be advertising a particular treatment because that is what they specialize in, or where their donors come from. Now, I don't wish for you to believe that these websites that advertise a specific treatment are being nefarious. They simply wish to inform you about one treatment type in particular. Furthermore, it should be noted that some websites may be emphasizing a treatment or insurance type on accident. Even the trusted websites may have a longer section devoted to a particular treatment or insurance, not because they think these are better or have had more research devoted to it, but simply as an accident of proportioning their website. And on accident, you may be influenced subconsciously to pick that particular treatment. Therefore, it is important to realize the goals and intentions behind where you gain your information, whether it be a website or someone you know. It is important to stress that the decision is up to you in the end, and your opinion matters. It is technically you who will be receiving the treatment, your time devoted, and probably your money spent. It needs to be emphasized that the term shared decision-making relates to you merely listening to what others have to offer and understanding how their shared inputs can help you make the decisions. Regardless of if you truly allow the people in your life, like the doctor or your loved ones, to help you make the decisions, it is your choice to allow them to have that say in your life. It is also your decision if you choose to allow a designated person to make the decisions on your behalf via a power of attorney, or if those around you vastly differ in their opinions, and after listening to their ideas, you still wish to pursue a different course of action, it is your decision. Because it is your decision and your opinion matters, people should listen to what you have to say. While many people probably do listen, it helps to know how to recognize if people are not listening to you. We've listed some ways to recognize these situations. They may be the ones to decide how the conversation is flowing. They may be prone to interrupting you. They may get defensive and overreact, may seem bored or distracted, change the subject at a point that doesn't make sense to you, or they may have no response verbally or with their body language. When it is obvious that someone is not listening to you, it is important to keep in mind some conversation techniques, as they may prove useful to getting your point across. You will want to explain your beliefs and the emotions that you are feeling clearly with them. You will want to show appreciation for their opinions and emotions, for if you take the first step, they probably will extend the same to you. You will want to keep an open mind, because their opinions may be valid and quite useful to you, and you will want to listen to them as well. You should be willing to change your opinions on matters, but if something really is non-negotiable, it is okay not to compromise on it. You obviously find that belief extremely significant, so it is worth arguing over. Also, if someone is not listening to you, it is okay to make changes. These changes can relate to your healthcare team, your support system, or the agent that you designated. Regarding the healthcare team, you can talk with a social worker or hospital patient service representative if you are having a problem with a particular person. You can change doctors or hospitals completely as well. While I make this sound easy or what you should resort to immediately, you will want to make sure you are making these changes with a clear mind. Referring to the previous slides, you may want to evaluate whether you have been listening to what they have to offer as well, and whether you are examining the situation with an open mind. Afterwards, of course, you should make the appropriate changes that benefit you most. With regards to your support system, in the end, you may have to make some decisions when it comes to family involvement, and either ask someone else to accompany you to appointments, or talk with someone else in the family about the situation, among other ideas. Again, it may help to utilize the conversation techniques from the previous slide so that you and this person may come to a compromise before vast changes are made. However, if it is necessary, you should definitely consider making these changes. Regarding an agent or representative who is not listening to you, and you have reviewed whether you are acting in a clear mind, you can work to get the power of attorney revoked. But be aware that this involves money and bureaucratic red tape, but should definitely be pursued if there is a problem. Some takeaways are that you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions of those around you, whether it be your doctor, loved one, or support group. You also want to review the pros and cons of each option, whether that be tests, treatments, care plans, documents, or insurance, before changing members of your healthcare team, or the involvement of loved ones or a power of attorney agent. Lastly, you want to make the decisions that seem best for you. And branching off that, if what's best for you is actually what's best for your loved ones, then you should evaluate and make that decision as well. This section, as you may have noticed, incorporates some of what was learned in previous sections. In the Preparing Ahead section, you learn that you can gain assistance with insurance and legal information. This assistance may come in the form of an attorney offering you suggestions, or a consultation with an insurance company, or giving over the process of decision-making to the representative of your choosing, with a power of attorney for healthcare or finances. In the Tools to Understand Your Diagnosis section, you learned how to seek out trusted websites and survivor support groups. These two resources will naturally influence your decision-making during your cancer journey, and should not be trusted outright or disregarded either. In the Goal Creating section, you learned how to understand the goals of the people around you and how to process through your own goals. In the Treatment section, you learned how to organize the pros and cons of treatment decisions. Combined, these sections help instruct you on how to take in information from everything and everyone around you to make the best decision for yourself on your cancer journey. With that, this section is over, and you may be asking what's in the next video.